subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
Mansa, hop on, Mansa. You got a lot of noise going.
Yeah, how you doing, my brother?
I'm good, Mansa. Where you calling from, man?
I'm from Chicago, Vice Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out.
Born here in America, and I've been trying to hit Brother Thaddeus and James Small to talk to you, man. You know, because I think you're a very brilliant brother,
Yes.
and so people won't say I'm what you would call a tether, but I consider myself an African. I'm proud of that.
Oh,
But I
your,
think you're
your
brilliant.
family from Africa?
You know, my family from right here in Chicago,
Okay.
right here. My mother and all of them. So I want people to say that, you know, but a few of your people call me a tether because I go so hard for Africa, but you know, I respect you, man. You're brilliant. And I don't want no smoke with the signify. You know, Chicago, we masters playing the dozens too. I know you're good at that. But I just, you know, just like to implore you, brother.
Yes.
You know, because you have a strong listener base. You command a lot of respect. The movies are phenomenal.
Yes, sir.
People are taking in what you're saying, and the things you say, you know, saying you can hurt our people. Like even the so-called FBAs, you know, they say something, you know, you like big bags and getting on people. And it's funny as hell, but you know what I'm saying? I just think your brilliance could be used to uplift our people. And I want to make a statement. You got all these damn Mexicans, right? And I see how American Cholo disrespected you. Nigga, I'll ride with you on that shit. I don't like them. I don't like them bitches. I don't like how they treat our people. So I don't see us, you know, showing contempt for them or these damn Arabs. You know what I'm saying? And I say a lot of the Muslims like Farrakhan and them and Rizza Islam, they went from being Uncle Toms to goddamn Uncle Abdullahs. These Arabs have no respect for us in Chicago and the Midwest. We ain't riding on them. I just like to see the you know the disrespect to Africans. You know saying they must be and all that type of stuff, and that energy should be used against people not of our race. But I just want to say you're great, and I don't want to get to know you know Joan in competition with you. I just like to see you change. So I like to talk to you offline so we can strategize and have a solution instead of just you know I ain't saying Africans don't have to be corrected because they do. A lot of what you're saying is right and exact. What's way we can correct them without you denigrating you know, the people, you know, in public like you do. Your words have power. You're a
Yeah.
powerful
Hold on,
brother.
but I don't denigrate. All up disrespectful. They get checked. Just like everybody. You mentioned Cholo. His ass got checked. That dude got checked. All got big time. Everybody
Yes.
gets.
But you know, man, I seen you roast the shit out of people. Man. Come on, you know, I'm from the same background, man. You roast the shit out. You'll make me commit
Right,
suicide.
man. I get
But say,
everybody. I got when whites
yeah, right.
get up.
But when you call them musty and say they musty tethers, it's like you know, man. I just think, brother, there's so much you can do with your potential and talent. And I'm begging you. So you and I don't get into it online. I like to just talk to you. You know, I can connect us with our brothers and sisters in Africa. We can solve our problems without the name calling and the going back and forth. There's some ignorance in Nigeria, but also we have ignorance. I'm dealing in Chicago. We don't have we have a problem with us killing each other. I'm a vice lord. Vice lord every day killing vice lord. This is what I'm doing. I'm dealing with squashing differences in prison. You know what I'm saying? Where brothers are getting stabbed up and all that. I'm dealing with all that. You know what I'm saying? And at least our problem is Africa. Our problem is this goddamn cracker, these goddamn Mexicans, and these damn Arabs and Asians. They a problem, man. They're a problem. So I just want to see us come together. So could I build with you? Thaddeus has my number. Professor James Smalls has my number. You know what I'm saying? So you and I could build, and we can really bring meaningful solutions to our problems,
Yeah,
brother.
we'll chop it up. We'll chop it up. But yeah, but the narrative that we are attacking African, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all because that's not a real narrative. And we ain't got to put the cape on for Africa. Africa, they got to get it together. That whole thing where we're exhausting a lot of our energy and resources to go over there and save Africa. We like Claude Anderson told me, we got to get shit together over here. And look, everybody can get it. Everybody can get it. Anybody disrespect, I'm roasting. When
Hello,
hold on, Steve.
hey, Hey Tariq, this is Steven.
Oops.
FBA here, born in Flint, Michigan.
Hold on, Stephen. I'm not done talking. I get you in a second, Stephen.
Oh, okay,
I
sure.
get you in a second. I was trying to make it a point. Like I was saying, everybody can get it. You understand? We don't allow any disrespect from people. That's been the problem. We're supposed to take the high road. No, other people come in, they want to try to get into the dozens with us, and then they lose. They get out roasted. So yeah, bringing up me calling folks musty tethers. Yeah, if you want to roast, yeah, we gonna roast. You gonna get it. No, no, no. You don't get the. You're not gonna get the cry foul because you got out roasted. Because what happens with a lot of these non-FBA cats, they come in trying to be funny, trying to be witty. They come in lying, just like old dude. The guy who called up, he called in lying and scamming, talking about what, yeah, you the leader of FBA. So he's coming in trolling. All right. And we were lightweight on him. We intellectually whooped on him, but they come in with the bullshit. They come in trolling. They come in trying to be witty. They come in trying to take jabs. They come in trying to say little slick shit about slavery. And then when we started hitting them, talking about how much bushmeat they eat, and oh, xenophobia, nigga, xenophobia. No, no, no. You want to get into a roast thing, you're not going to win that with us. So everybody can get it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not here to coddle people no more. We coddle people too damn much. Let's get Stephen. Go ahead and hop on in, Stephen.
Hello, yeah. I just wanted to add that. So I'm from Flint, Michigan, but I'm here in California now. And the point that you made about moving in our own country, this is our country. Like all the states, we can go to any state, live in any state, and move to any
Yep.
state. It's our country, our constitution, our laws. We vote, we make it happen. So I'm here. I wanted to add that a really big influence for me has been my grandmother because when I was young, I was very into a Pan African sort of worldview where I'm like, we're all the same, it's all one, and I was looking at white people in school, and they would say that, oh, I'm Irish, I'm Italian, I'm this, I'm that, and I was looking to imitate that, where I was like, oh, but where am I from? What is my thing? So I wanted to fit in that way,
Right.
growing up. And I was like, and I would look and it's like, oh, you're from Africa, Africa, Africa. So I was like, okay, where in Africa? Maybe Nigeria, maybe this. And that was where I was drawing my identity from. And I remember mentioning it to my grandmother out of nowhere. I was just like, yeah, grandma, we're from Nigeria, we're from Africa. And my grandma, she's from Florida. She said, Stephen, we ain't no Africans. We from here.
Mm.
What you talking? Like she and I was shocked in the moment because I was like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's ignorant. Oh, she's just embarrassed of Africa or something like that. That wasn't any of what she was talking about. She was talking about the reality of the story of our people, of like, we are from here.
Yeah.
This is our family. This is our culture. It survived everything,
Yep.
and we fought for everything, and you will recognize that you are from here. And she didn't have anything bad to say about other people. She just said that, hey, remember where you're from. And then I learned that later in
Yeah.
life. I learned it later in life and picked it up, because when I look at it around in my life, it's been black, like foundational Black Americans who have helped me in college, in society, in learning to speak, in my education, uplift, all of that. And it's global. Even people in China, where there's ain't no Black people over there, they're wearing our clothes. They're going after our culture. They want to beat everybody, the whole world. We move. So I just wanted to add that my grandmother brought that to me,
Yes, indeed.
and our
Yes.
and our ancestors and our elders bring that to us and help us in that understanding.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you for the call. Yeah, we know that, man. The elders know. That's why, man, go down to places like New Orleans. They know what it is. That's why when they do the second line and all of that, they got the Mardi Gras Indians down there who are Black. You understand? Because there were a lot of Black aboriginals down there as well. So yeah, we know. We know. Nikki the God, hop on, beloved.
Hey, I didn't want to put this, make a post about this, but I sent it to you. But the guy who was just speaking to you is being very disingenuous, playing victim. He's made several posts accusing FBA of being the FBI. That's all I wanted to let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, you could check the screenshots I just sent you.
Okay. Thank you, dear.
All right.
And see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. See, when I don't like that either. I don't like that either. When people be like, "Hey, man, we got to connect. We got to connect," and then you got a track record of saying real slick shit. That's not a good look. Yeah, because some of the stuff he was saying, I'm like, well, yeah, yeah, we don't go in on other people. That ain't true. Like, where are you getting that? So that's interesting. All right, let's get your guy Nick's in the building. Your guy Nick's in the building.
Yeah, what's going on? How you doing,
Hey
brother?
Nick, how are you, buddy?
Man, doing pretty good, man. But real quick, I'm outside looking in, if you will. Um, just kind of land my plane real quick. Look, I'm 46, very clear. A been with my wife of the other side, if you will, since '96. Okay, been through a lot of different things in general when it comes to those lanes and where it is, you know. And I just kind of sat back. I've listened a couple of times and whatnot, and to the lady who spoke, and but the guy with the three followers and link, and I looked at it as well. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. What a dichotomy! I mean, for me, I just kind of look at the dichotomy we live in 2025, right? And how do we move in whatnot? And I say we, right? Like I'm outside of that spectrum. See, at the end of the day, um, where we are from a government standpoint and whatnot, what is the temperature? That's kind of what I want to hear from you, Tariq. In general, I've followed you for a long time and everything. How do you feel? How is the movement? That my daughter's 26, obviously, so on and so forth. Like, what is the temperature for you and where it is right now, and how it's looking on the outside as we move forward here? If you don't mind me asking the
Yeah,
question.
yeah. Right now, what's going on now, we are, as foundational Black Americans, we are just looking for compensatory justice. Right now, it's like, okay, we need resources that are owed to us. It's really about us getting resources because the can has been kicked down the road repeatedly, and it's time for the US government to break bread to give us compensation for what is owed. So that's our whole vibe right now. Samuel, hop in, Samuel. And Kylie, I'm sorry. Kylie, you still in here? Kylie, let me get you out. All right, let me get you out. You just sitting here and ain't saying nothing. All right. Let me get some of these new faces in here because we do have a lot of people in here. Let's get Blue Mirror. Blue Mirror, then we can get Jazz. Jazz down there. Blue Mirror, you good? Blue Mirror, you good? You can speak, Blue Mirror. You got 3 seconds, and then we'll get Jazz. Jazzil. Okay, Jazz, hop in.
Hi, Tariq.
Hey, Jazz, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Now, where you from, Jazz?
I am Cameroonian, so I'm a Cameroonian American. I was born in America, but I'm
There you
Cameroonian.
go. What's on your mind, Jazz?
Um, so I was wondering, like, certain of these conversations, they don't really get a certain type of correction that is needed, right?
What?
In terms of akata, right? That is a Yoruba word. That's from the Yoruba clan or ethnic nation. So I'm sure like there are Africans that use that as a slur, but the origin point of it was a Yoruba word for Yorubas who have lost their way. They went and they lost. They've been Europeanized. They've been Westernized, etc., etc. So I mean, I won't justify that as a word for all West Africans or central or part of West Central Africans, and I don't doubt Africans use that as a slur, and when they're like all these diaspora wars are going on and stuff like
They
that.
do. They
Um,
100% use it as a slur. They've been using it as a slur for decades. And we weren't tripping on it because again, we ain't really trying to punch down. But then we've seen African immigrants who come over here and become college professors. They're working in schools and they're working in government. And you see them on social media referring to us as Akatas. And it's always, always, always used in a negative connotation. It's never used, hey, look at that Akata just $1 million, or that Akata just got a PhD. It's always used in a very derogatory way. And yeah, they say it's a Yoruba word, but we've seen several people from West Africa use it all across the board. So yeah, it's a slur that they have for us, and the fact that they would even have a slur for us, that's a problem.
that yeah, I agreed with the fact that like I don't doubt other Africans use that as a slur during these diaspora wars, and they have adopted that in their language, but in dialects, right? It was originally for the Yorubas that lost their way, like they had no connection with you for um hundreds and hundreds of years. And I agree with you, like some of them do use it as a slur. That is true. Another point is the fact that at least like I would think, because I think most African Americans are Igbo, like the Igbo ancestry. I would think at least, because I think there are Igbos in America. There's a good amount of Igbos in America, and the Yorubas usually go to like UK, right? I would think that at least like you guys can reconcile in America of your connection, because look at Nigeria, right?
Whereas,
Igbo
slow down,
Igbo
slow down,
Igbos Igbos are one of the most marginalized people in Nigeria, right? They're the
oh,
Biafrans.
oh,
They,
slow down. How are we Igbo? How are we Igbo? And how could that even be quantified or proven that we're even Igbos? How would that be proven? Where is that we're Igbos over here?
okay,
Just
so most of the DNA test trace of recent ancestry traces back to Nigeria, and it's proven in correlation of your dishes. A lot of like the spices, etc., that they use, you guys use it in like your dishes too, right? And also through ancestry tests, it's saying that, I'm not saying all African Americans are Igbos, but majority, when it's saying Nigeria, a lot of you guys are Igbo, right?
not
I'm not
really.
I'm not saying that not all of you are Yoruba, but a good amount are Igbo. It's
No,
very true.
no. Because yeah, how come our food don't taste the same if we using the
Wait,
spices? Our food don't.
let me explain, right? Because Igbos never had an empire, right? They never had a kingdom, right? So they were not known for like that slave centralization kingship, right? So majority of them were raided by other groups, right? Because usually ethnic groups, clans, right? I don't like that word tribe. Usually ethnic groups raided other ethnic groups. It was very, very little, like a 0.% chance that they would sell their own, right? And it would be dire situation, like a famine. But the majority of the time it was raiding. So because they were so much raided, you can even look this up. Look at the Echo movement, right? The Echo movement, when Britain fought them for 31 years, right? They said that the Igbos had the biggest fight against them, bigger than the Benin people, bigger than the Sokoto people, because it was irritating. They never had a uh, centralized party power. And also, the Igbos were known to unalive themselves. They were most stubborn people. The British said that. They banned them for a while because they were so stubborn. They would rather unalive themselves than be enslaved.
Okay,
We know that
o-
about the Igbos.
Okay, slow down because this is a big ass guessing game. None of this, there's no documented proof of us being a part of that. This is like a big ass guessing game because people in Africa during the slave trade, they were running all over the place. They were being brought in from all areas and then brought to the coast. So they're brought in from everywhere. That's why when we do DNA testing, they got us all over Africa. They got some of my DNA in West Africa. They got some of it in Mozambique. They got it all over the place. Even those tribes there now, let's be very clear. Those tribes there now, they were pretty much nomadic. They don't know the origins of some of those tribes, the Igbo tribes and the Yoruba. They were not always in that particular area. And also, when they got colonized, they would bring certain groups over here who would be absorbed into the Igbos. They would bring another group from that tribe, the Hauses. They would be absorbed into the Yoruba. So it was a lot of remixing going on over there. So it's all scattered over there. So yeah, they can't say that we're part of one tribe that's current there now. And that tribe, they don't even know their true origin, to be honest, because they've been ran and remixed all over the place. So yeah, it's hard to do that. That's why our ethnogenesis is different. We have a different ethnogenesis. You can't compare spices. Our food tastes completely different. Our music sounds completely different. Our attitude and disposition and our spiritual base is different, and our singing is different. We're just unique. We had a very unique experience, and we became our own ethnic group over here. So that makes sense, Jazz.
Okay, so right, correlation. Okay, what I'm trying to conclude is right. Majority of the people enslaved, right, that came to the Americas, right, whether it be the Caribbeans to America, right, came from West Central Africa, right? Whether you have Mande, whether you have Mandingo, whether you have Igbo, whether you have Yoruba. But what I'm saying is that of the Nigerian ancestry that you have in your results, right? There's a good chance you will be of Igbo ancestry. I'm not saying you don't have um Dogon blood in you and the other Basa blood in you, etc., right? In these countries, right, there was a three-way trade, right? There was a domestic trade, there was a trans-Saharan trade, and there was a transatlantic trade. Okay, there were groups, right, in the northern part of Cameroon, right? There are groups that came from Arab countries like Yemen, etc. Yeah, you would probably know them as the Fulanis, the Adamawa, the Kanuri, the Beriberi, etc., right? These people were known in my history and in Nigerian history to be raiders. You could look this up. Kilba Kingdom, the Huba King, the Kilba Emirates, the Huba Emirate, the Sokoto Caliphate. The houses were conquered by the Fulanis that were part of the Borno, the Shanghai, all these groups, right? You would link that even if you look at the Levi's jean industry, right? The Levi's industry, the enslaved people that had that technique was taken by from Kano, right? Kano produced the indigo dye and they did the indigo cloth making, right? Those enslaved people were raided through that the conquering of the Hausa kingdom by those Afro-Asiatic groups and sold off to America. So that technique that they got from the Levi's jean industry and the cloth that they imported from India were from those enslaved people, right? Because the culture of these Afro Asiatics were raiding. They're very known to say that that literally was their culture. And I'm not doubting that you have Mozambique. Mozambique, yes. There are coastal cities that were used, right? There were the East African slave trade merged into the transatlantic because they utilized both trades, and some East Africans came over to West Central Africa to help conquer as well, as they were recruits for a lot of those Royal African companies, etc., etc.
All right, now let me get my brother Macau in here. Brother Macau.
Yeah, brother. She's killing me.
Go.
My goodness. Ma'am, Miss Jazz, how are you, sister? How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you. Question. How long? Okay, we all agree that the continent that's been named Africa by the Europeans essentially is the source continent. And we're talking 3 million years of human existence. Would you agree to that? Hmm?
Jazz.
It wasn't
Hmm?
the name in Africa was already existing. It was coined by Europeans. But yes, I agree with everything else you said.
What name existed? What was it called?
Africa was already in Africa. The European that conquered, right? They named Africa. They named themselves, right? Africanos, right? After the
What,
place they conquered, and they decided to name the
what
whole
year?
continent Africa.
Around what year was that?
Uh, like thousands, like over thousands of years ago. Like first invasions in North Africa, I would say.
About 1,500 years ago. But we're talking 3 million years of humanity consciousness on the continent, right? And you're suggesting that these source people, these primordials, did not leave the continent and populate the planet until, and specifically North America, until the transatlantic slave trade. Is that what you're insinuating, man? I'm just trying to be clear. Huh? Hello?
Yes, like Afro Americans came to America
Huh?
through the trans-Saharan slave trade. Yes.
Okay. Pause. Brother Tariq, you mentioned Lucia.
Yes.
How long, how long, what is that skeleton or that skull dated to?
They said 13,000 years.
Okay. Ma'am, Jazz, who were those people 13,000 years ago in South America? Hmm?
These people were black. They were
Hmm?
they were black, but that doesn't really correlate to the fact that they were African.
Huh?
They were black.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're on. Okay. Are you familiar with a term or people who classify themselves as Kefti, Kefti?
No, who are those?
They were melanoid, woolly haired Negroes who occupied a location called Crete, Manoa, which was at that particular time a trade post that consisted of a conglomerate of island kingdoms that left the Mediterranean basin and populated the region we call North Africa, specifically starting from the area of Florida on up. Are you aware of them?
Um, I, I,
Okay, you're
I,
not. You
be-
should
I
do
believe
it's okay.
you're explaining them
Do,
to me. So,
do,
yeah,
okay, do a little research there. Are you familiar with a group of people who were called Kushim, Kushim?
Kush.
The Albanoids or the European called them Sumer, or Elam. Are you familiar with those people?
I'm familiar with
Yep.
I'm familiar with Kushites. I don't know what Kusher are. No.
Okay.
You hear, Brother Miguel?
But Mikkel, what questions did you have
Aware of
for
that.
me exactly? What did you disagree with what I was saying?
That there weren't melanoid, woolly haired, primordial people on the North American continent prior to the transatlantic slave trade, and that we're primarily from West Africa. Huh?
Yes,
Hello?
yes. The documents, the records show it. There are ancestors that talk
Okay.
about it. Like there is literally.
Ma'am, 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 you're unenlightened, you're uninformed, you're being misguided by European curriculum, and you're outclassed. You should really, 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 really do your homework, because this discussion within itself is a disservice for the people who populated that continent 3 million years ago. Okay, thank you, dear brother, for the opportunity to speak. I'll
Thank
land.
All right. So jazz, but yeah, so jazz. Basically, the point is, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, because we're talking centuries and centuries and centuries ago, what tribe in Africa we were connected to, because things have been remixed so much since that time. Also, many of us come from some of the Black Aboriginal people who were here. So we mixed in and there was a new ethnic group created. So that's what we're saying. I think a lot of people have issues with this whole thing where um, there's a need to Africanize us. Why do you think that need is to Africanize foundational Black Americans? Why do you think there's such a desire for that, Jazz?
I mean, I agree. I disagree with that. I think people, you guys should be who you want. Honestly, I do think Africans should focus on Africa. I don't like, the even the ideology of like Pan-Africanism is weird, and it came from actually you guys in
Yeah,
the West. It came from Afro Americans, Caribbeans, and African Americans, right? So
yeah,
that ideology, right, is it within our own countries, right? We know what issues we have within our own countries, right? That not everyone sees, right? That is more complex on the continent than to just homogenize everyone. And I think yeah, I think everyone should let everyone be. I'm not I
right. But
never came from a monarchy where I want to one everyone, centralize everyone, have power over. That was never my clan. So I think you guys should be who you want, and I think we should make alliances based on what we agree on. That's how I think solutions should be made, based on similarities, rather than having these digressive conversations every day, and that's how progress is made, rather
right,
than.
but
Yeah, go
to
ahead.
be made, right, and I think it should be about respect too, because if we want to have respectful dialogue, people are going to have to respect our lineage and respect that we are an ethnic group that had an ethnogenesis. The problem is we get a lot of people who are your fellow immigrants who come in, and what they try to do, they try to force Africanize us, make us generic Africans, and then they try to denigrate our lineage or minimize our lineage by talking about there's a leader to the lineage and we're a hate group. So that's very disrespectful simply because we want to acknowledge our own culture. We do understand over there in Africa. Hell, we can just look at Cameroon. I mean, it was remixed. Cameroon itself, your homeland. Germany had a little piece of it. Then France, and then Britain, and then I think Britain and France were controlling it at the same time. They had little portions. So, yeah, we've been dealing with the colonization of white supremacy, and they've remixed a lot of things. So, we understand that, and we have to understand, and people have to understand what went on over here. There was a combination of Black Aboriginals and Africans, and we became foundational Black Americans. So, that's where we are now. That makes sense, dear?
Yeah, I mean, also Afro-Asiatics had a part of Cameroon and a lot of our countries too, which we don't really talk about. But I mean, I agree for the most part that we should be worrying about our own issues. My question is, right, I'm just trying to reason with like the at least the people I think that want to make you guys identify as Africans. And um I think the reasoning, right, is because there was a lot of things that were happening, later on, right? And we could talk about the American Colonization Society in Liberia. We could talk about the Sierra Leone thing. We could talk even about the 600, 700 missionaries, Afro American missionaries sent to Africa. You can even look at the script of the African Americans sent to um, Angola, the Mbumbudu. You could look this up.
Right.
You could look even in Cameroon, the Afro American missionaries and the churches that are still funded by the government, right? That actually, the ideology was brought by you guys,
Right.
to
Right.
want us. So it's kind of you guys have to reverse that ideology that you guys did, because we see how, Liberia didn't work out, Sierra Leone didn't work out. All these missionaries that came to so-called say they were civilizing us, right? But what they saw was what the Europeans were doing on the continent, right? Was the reality of the situation. And that's why you guys as Afro Americans decided to stop, and you guys realized in Angola, hey, I realized the Portuguese are actually enslaving the indigenous people. So we
Right.
need to.
Right. Right. Thank you so much. This is just going on and on and on. Shit. All right. Thank you so much, beloved. Shit. All right. Thank you. Okay. This is kind of dragging on and on. I want to get some more call. Let me get Mansa back in here, man. Mansa soon died, or whatever your name is. Hop back in real quick, bro. The Mansa dude, hop back in, man. Let me get him in because I saw him in. I want to get him back in here. Mansa, hop in. Unmute your microphone, brother.
All right, you there, my brother?
Yeah, I'm here, brother. Now, why?
All right.
What's all that
Yeah.
stuff? We're being FBIs and all that. What is that?
Yeah. Now listen, I'm gonna say this. I ain't trying to have no smoke or singing. I was very angry because two of your people, that brother Thaddeus and uh, Daniel, who were very good. Malcolm X cousin, y'all in California together. They know what I've been on. And you part of the reason to help me with Hidden Colors. I just admire your work. They start saying Africa, what I was talking about. So I got angry to hear some of the things that you were saying. And that's why I reached out. I reached out for Thaddeus months ago. Like, man, when I kept going, they started calling me up, harassing me, like telling me I was up because I wanted to represent Africa. You know what I'm saying? And
Who
it's
who is
huh?
Thaddeus? Who is
brother
Thaddeus?
brother Thaddeus, Malcolm X cousin in Chicago. He says he the first person talking about FBA, and brother Daniel Omawali. He says he knows you real well. I think y'all had conversations before. They start attacking my beliefs. I've been like this for 30 years, man. When I
Yeah,
came from
I don't.
gang banging, when I
Okay,
came from gang banging, selling dope, reforming vice lords and GDs and Bloods and Crips to work, giving them my Africa. They started telling me I was wasting my time, the FBA for Africa. So it made me angry. So I reached out for James Smalls several times. Let me talk with my brother, you know what I'm saying? So we don't get into it. So I'll say here, if any FBA are offended by my words, I definitely can apologize for that. But I want to build with you and just
all right.
want you.
Got it. Thank you. All right, yeah, because I'm looking at his page and it's all this FBA is FBI and all that. I don't know who Thaddeus is. Thaddeus, I don't know him. This is the thing. There's 43 million foundational Black Americans. If you had an argument with somebody, that doesn't mean I know him. I don't know him. Some of these people who I don't know them, sir. We're not a group. We're not an organization. All right. This is the point that you got to drive in your brain. I don't know all 43 million foundational Black Americans. If somebody got into an argument with you about something, they ain't got nothing to do with me, man. I don't know what it's about. That happens. All right. Ah, goodness. We in here tonight. Come on now. We in here. Let's get Dr. Barry in the building. Let's get Dr. Barry in the building. We in here. And I see Miss El Presidente, who was here last night. Dr. Barry, you good?
you doing?
I'm good, Dr. Barry. What are you calling from, sir?
Yeah, I'm calling from Nigeria in Africa.
There you go. What's on your mind, Dr. Barry?
Yeah, I'm just perplexed with everything that's happening. But you see, I was just passing through and I saw your space. I got a lot of people here, and it says, has some of the anti-FBA hostility tuned down since the deportation? I actually don't get the first-hand information of how you started, what you're talking about, and what happened. But I just wanted to use this opportunity to tell the people of the world that we from Africa, Nigeria, as a case study, point of contact, should always know that we have our own doings. Whether you like it or not, we are Africans. Whether you like it or not, we are black people. Whether you like it or not, we have our history. Whether you like it or not, we have our lifestyle. And we are good people. We like the best of all, even before democracy started in Nigeria, in Africa, we were living and we had no problems until this thing called democracy came. And the democracy came with so much corruption. The democracy came with so much support for impunity by governments of the so-called civilized nations. Okay, now take, for example, the 2023 elections in Nigeria, where the president and the government of the United States of America supported a wrong person to become president of Nigeria. Someone who was indicted in the United States for drug abuse, drug problems, and a certificate forgery in Chicago State University. That same person, America, in the capacity of Joe Biden, gave him the best support
Yep.
to remain big press against Nigeria, against Africa, will fall back on the people of the United States at the end of the day. Because we know that the United States, whether anybody likes it or not, remains the greatest country in the world. So whatever translates from that administration of leadership in the United States, it affects Nigeria. And when it affects Nigeria, it affects Africa, because Nigeria remains the lead of whatsoever good, bad, ugly happens to Africa. Africa is the new power. Africa is the new emerging super glory. Whether anybody likes it or not, Africa has come of age and Africa must evolve. And Africa starting its involvement by the explanation of Nigeria leading the battle. So that's why we crave for good governance, quality leadership, and the respect for the rule of law. Now we are going into elections again in 2027. What is the American government going to do? Thank God we have Donald Trump, who understands what to have democracy work the best way. We expect Donald Trump to focus on Nigeria so that will be an opportunity to focus on Africa. Nigeria needs credible leadership. Nigeria needs integrity. Nigeria.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna land your plane. Thank you. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate your passion. He was really bigging up Nigeria. He was really bigging it up while he was getting sound like he was getting some Postmates orders. While he was talking, his phone was ringing. Sound like some Uber Eats was coming through, which was low-key funny. And shout out to you, Dr. Bear. I just had to land your plane. But yeah, he was very passionate when the morning Nigeria is the vanguard of prosperity. We are the leaders of endeavors in innovation in Africa. The whole of Africa is going to bow down to the spirit and the ingenuity of Nigeria. Hello, hello, Uber Eats. Can I help you, please? We're busting your balls a little bit, Dr. Barry. We're just busting your balls, brother. Much respect. I like Dr. Barry. I respect his passion. I respect Dr. Barry's passion. So shout out to Dr. Barry. um, uh, you're going to understand that we have used our resources to build up the wealth and the prosperity of Nigeria. It is going to be on the new vanguard of economic empowerment. Hello, Chipotle. Let me get the burrito for delivery. Some jalapeno peppers and some nacho cheese. Shout out to Dr. Barry. Much respect to Dr. Barry.
In the heart of nature, we find our true strength, a connection to our roots, to the land, to each other. Introducing Rootwork deodorant, infused with the potent power of High John the Conqueror root. Embrace the natural strength and resilience passed down through generations. Feel the purity of natural ingredients, harmonizing with your body and spirit. Rootwork deodorant, bringing you in tune with nature and with yourself. Rootwork deodorant. Connect, empower, thrive. Available now at rootworkstyle.com.